The timer is not showing me as if I can see. I can. Oh, I'm good. Yeah. Thank you so much, the people behind the camera, for making me comfortable. Today is another beautiful day, and we're here again to talk about service. My name is Joy, and I'm always very excited to come and, share with you what is on my heart and what I have learned from experience and what the Holy Spirit has been teaching me and what the world has taught me and what I've seen. I'm always very excited to come and share this with you. We are still continuing with service mentality, and like I said in the previous recording or the previous time we were discussing these things, we are now tackling the things that we should avoid in customer care. And today we are going to talk about hanging on the rule book. Don't be hung on the rule book, my friend. What does that mean? Hanging on the standards that were set. It is a good thing to have standards, values, but sometimes you will need to adjust. You will need to be flexible. You will need to divert a little bit. You need to compromise. You need to flexen it. You need to calm down a little bit. But when you are stuck there and you are rigid there and you're like, I do not change, that is how I was made, you are hanging on the rule book. Customers do not like people who hang on the rule book. So today we are talking about that as a common sin. Sometimes people are like, they told me to do this. They told me I should sit facing here. They gave me my rules and I wrote and signed against them. They said we should be closing this office by 4. And even if it is 2 minutes to actually 4, you close up, or 2 minutes past 4, you close up, or you're like, you are hung on the rule book. When you are too rigid, it is a sin. Customers cannot connect with you when you are that kind of person. What am I talking about? I'm saying this is being unable to think of alternatives. There are people who are always only working with what they were given to work with. You cannot change. You cannot think outside the box. You cannot go beyond the parameters. You cannot go an extra mile. You are hung there. You are hanging on the rule book. Hanging on the rule book is a forbidden sin in service mentality. It is forbidden when you are relating with people. It is forbidden when you are connecting with people. It will hinder your relationship with people. If you're this kind of person who never adjusts, who are, you are stuck to what you were given, or you're stuck to your principles, you are stuck. Life cannot be like that, because we are dealing with different people and different circumstances, and change is part of life, and things keep changing. New things are coming in. So you cannot say these rules that I used in COVID, they are the ones still operating up to now. These rules that I used when I was growing up, they are the ones I still hang on. These things that I was given, they are the ones I still hold up to. No, in life, we must be flexible. We must learn to cut off certain wings and, fit ourselves. Like a cat. A cat is a cat. I have seen a cat, pussycats. They are very flexible beings. They can go in even when you least expect them to pass, to go through that place. So sometimes, as a customer provider, as a people person, as a person who relates with various people, you are supposed to, be able to bend, to be able to squeeze yourself and fit in, to be able to come down from your principles, to come down from your set rules and standards, to adjust and be able to attract the people you're going to serve or the people you're serving with. Sometimes you just need to, to put down a little bit of yourself and then go with what the people are are asking you to go with. Not in a bad way, but in a way to try and be flexible and be attractive and work with people in any situation and in any circumstance. Now, being hung on the rule book also can mean being stuck. There are people who can be stuck in the process. You know, you're like, they said we can only go this far. And when you reach that far, you cannot go beyond and you get stuck. Customers don't like to relate with people who cannot go beyond their things or go beyond, you know. That's why there's what we call the bargaining power. You know, you cannot live in a world where you don't appreciate bargaining power. When I talk about bargaining, it's not only applying to maybe money issues where you're going to pay and they tell you, no, reduce for me. No, bargaining can even mean bargaining in marriage, bargaining in life, bargaining in the church, bargaining in the ministry, bargaining in your place of work, bargaining for your salary, bargaining with your friends. Bargaining in life is part of us. So you cannot say, for me, this is how I am. You will get stuck in the process, and customers do not like people who are stuck to their things. You practically refuse to come out of the normal. Being hung on the rule book also means you don't want to go out of the normal. There are people who are like, me, I'm like that. I was born like that. I was created like that. That is being normal. Now, when you are relating with people, sometimes you go out of the normal and you go to extraordinary, or you go below the normal and you be on the other side, you know. Then you'll be able to attract all types of people and all types of customers and all types of relationships. So many times, child of God, if you come to a point and you feel you are stuck, calm down, talk to yourself, find a solution. Find some people and tell them, I think I'm getting stuck on this, you know. And if you are being like you are serving and there's a boss that has put these standards. But remember, sometimes these bosses are not the ones meeting the customers directly. It is you meeting this customer. It is you encountering the situation on ground. It is you facing this person. So what do you do when you cannot adjust to the standards that were given to you? Involve the supervisor, involve the boss, involve another party, so that you don't make the decision of breaking the rules on your own. You have to have a backup when you're dealing with people. Create, have a witness. Have someone who will say, I witnessed, the situation was tense, therefore she had to adjust. She had to serve. The people were many, so they had to extend the hours. The people were few, so they had to close earlier. The people were unruly, so they had to involve the security. The people needed it needed an urgency in working on it, so they had to call for help. You know, have a backup, have a witness. Call the supervisor. Tell them, you know, I'm on site right now, and I think you had earlier said that we end the program, but according to the numbers that we are dealing with, I think we may need to add on other days, or we may need to involve more staff, or we may need to involve another person, or we may need to bring in more food. I mean, I'm giving the different scenarios depending on where you're serving. Or we may need to extend the schedules, you know. But involve your supervisor. Don't go beyond the rule book on your own. Avoid that. Yeah. Don't break the rule book, the standards, just for your own sake. It must be able to come from your supervisor or from your boss. But what am I talking about? I'm saying, don't be so rigid. Yeah. When they set rules for you, there are times you will, you know, a little bit divert from the rule, not because you don't understand the rules and regulations, but because you must be able to attract the people and make it an excellent customer service experience. So when we are talking about hanging on the rule book, it means going above or below the standard for the sake of having an excellent experience for the customer. Now, even Jesus, like I always give you the example, he did that. He went beyond the rule. There's a time when he was, when he went to heal a man who had a withered hand. The man who had a withered hand in the Bible. And that particular miracle he did on the day which was called the Sabbath. And the Sabbath had rules and regulations. And these people always, the Pharisees said, you do nothing on the Sabbath. You don't, you were not allowed. It was a day for resting. It's a day where no activity should go on. No healing, no going to the field, no, doing work was prohibited. And Jesus comes in. And he finds this man withered. He had a hand that had been withered. And he says, this man should get well. And they said, you cannot do that. You cannot go beyond the rules. You cannot go beyond the standards. You cannot go beyond the set principles. And Jesus says, come on. If you had a sheep and it had a problem and it had, gone down, wouldn't you pick it up? And isn't it a good thing to do good things on a Sabbath? My question today is, isn't it a good thing to do good things when beyond your standards, beyond the rules, beyond the regulation? Yeah. Isn't it good for you to build a relationship with people beyond what you were given to do? There are some people, you're a receptionist somewhere and you're seated and you're supposed to only receive maybe the clients coming in and they wait for the next person. Isn't it good for you to walk out of that desk and maybe offer them a cup of tea and maybe carry their bag? You go beyond the set standards. You go beyond the rule. You go beyond the rule book. Yeah. Isn't it good for you to be a cleaner somewhere and you're not allowed to interact with people as you're picking up this mess? But in the process, as you're picking it up, you also engage and say, hello, how are you? I came to pick up the mess. And you go beyond the rule. You go beyond the standard, and you're doing it for good, not doing it for your own showbiz or for your own, personal interests, but you're doing it to improve the service of this place or this particular place you're working in. It's good to go beyond the rule book. Sometimes don't be too rigid. Life calls us to be flexible because things are changing every day. New things are coming in. Come on. Don't be too hard. Don't be too straight. Don't be too, committed to what you want. Don't be just focused on you alone. Work with people with a mindset of being flexible. It will make work life and life easy for you. I hope you got something today. Thank you for following. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the comments. Tag someone. Share with someone. Involve someone, send it to someone, and let it do something in your life. My name is Joy. I love you. See you in the next episode.